All right. So this week's movie review, this retro movie review, is Shaun of the Dead. Yeah. So I don't want to dive deep into the actors. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I don't want to go too much. I want to give a beginning intro, and then I figure we would just spitball and go back and forth about certain aspects of the movie and what you liked and what you didn't like about it. But it starts off with the main character, Shaun, and the gang in Winchester, as usual. It opens up with Liz talking to Shaun, wanting more out of their relationship, and he's sitting there kind of oblivious to how his life is going so far. Right? You know, he's in his late 20s now. He still has the same job that he's had since out of high school. He still hangs out with the same friends, and he still basically does the same thing every day.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think she was just searching for something like her that her friends had, which I think was hilarious when you think about it, because her friends were the opposite of what a picture perfect relationship really is. They were the definition of settling with each other, as we come to find out later in the movie. But
Uh, I was just gonna
oh, sorry,
say,
I thought one of you were talking.
I was just
Was it in
gonna
the back?
say, I just don't think she wanted her life to be going to work and then going to the pub and then going to
No.
Well, I know she
work and
had a
going to the
problem that
pub.
he hadn't introduced her to his mom. I know she had a problem with that.
Oh shit, that's gonna be a problem. I don't know what it is, but this light, it's like a ghost in my garage, man. This light will just trigger on and off for no reason. I have no idea why.
Instead of getting up and walking 2 feet, you spend more energy with a pool cue.
Oh, for one, that was way less energy than walking up. It's not 2 feet because it's like I gotta go on an L shape to get to it. So this pool stick just cuts off that corner, and I can just boop press it.
Yeah.
It's the fat man in me.
I
So
I do like is
add
when
to
they're talking to each other, and she's like going on about like not that she doesn't like Ed, and he's like right there, and she's like, no
yeah.
offense, and then he's doing it about her friends, and it fucking pans over, and they're just sitting right next to her.
Just like all angry.
Like
Yeah,
a
it was
couple
just
of
hilarious.
days.
I was gonna say that too. I was like the funny part is right after she goes on and says how bad of a friend he is. His his first thing to do is come over to the table and he's like, "Hey, cunts, would you like anything from the bar? Would you cunts like anything to drink?" And I was like, "Dude, you're not helping your case whatsoever right now at all." Everybody's face on the other side of the table, all Liz and her friends, just their face just looked and like just hatred to him. There's a little subtle humor I love about British comedies, and this one was chock full of every little bit of it.
I like
But
the bit where when him and Yvonne run into each other and they say the same couple of things, and they run into each other 3 times throughout the movie, and it's the same
and
words,
they're
but they
all
mean something different in the context that they're in, because
yeah,
of what's going on. Like I like that. That joke's good. Like everything that him and Pete say to each other, like it all comes back again. Like if they say the same stuff twice, and I don't know, it's funny. It always works out that way though. Like when he's picking on Ed and he's like, oh, and then at the end when he's a zombie and he was attacking Ed and he's like, I said leave him, and then he shoots him, So it's just like everything they say to each other comes back again.
yeah, yeah. No, it's it. I don't want to skip too far ahead. I don't want to skip too far ahead, but I do want to bring it back to right after she says all the stuff she has to say about not wanting her life to turn out that way. You could see that obviously he still loves her and he wants to be with her and he wants to make it work, and he makes this promise. And right after he makes this promise to change who he is, the camera does like this close up and the voices and the music gets muffled, and he's just like left there with his thoughts like, oh my god, I actually have to be an adult like a mindless drone. I don't know if you noticed like the comparison between like what was actually going on around him, like zombies and all that, like the mindless eating and mindless drone nature of all of it, compared to the idea of adulthood, which is almost similar in a sense. You're almost it's like two different versions of what society thinks of zombies, right? You got your actual stereotypical zombies, brain eating zombies, and then you got your just regular day to day 8 hour shift coming home to the wife and kids life, right? And I liked the fact that they put those together. I don't know if anybody else got that, but that's what I looked at. I didn't realize that when I first watched it, and I went in there with like a different outlook, I guess. I mean, the last time I watched this was probably like not only the year that it came out, which was 2004, good year, but a couple years after that, maybe is how much I watched that. And then like I haven't so I haven't watched it in about 18 years, I would say.
Damn,
Yeah. I know,
that's
right?
wild.
Can you believe it's been 18 years since or no, it's been 20, but like to think about it, like it's crazy how long it's been since I've watched that movie. But going
I like
into it with fresh eyes, it
what
was it
the
was kind of funny, kind of funny. It was like that, like dark funny in my and at least in my opinion, the side by side comparison of what he thinks life will be like versus what it ended up turning out to be, which the similarities are just comical in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then we are I don't know if you guys want to carry it on from here because I don't want to take over the entire thing, but I was gonna say that it goes from the bar and him contemplating life and pontificating about it to actually that brings up one question. How did you guys feel about the way that it was shot? Like the flashing back like and forth. Like I know at the time it was kind of a different way of filming it, but it was also like a comical way because it does do that in certain types of action movies and thrillers, right? So, but what did you guys think of it being a part of like a horror, like all the flashing from like they're here, then they're there. What did you
liked
guys
it.
think
I
about
liked
it?
it a lot. I think it worked for it. They did it consistently throughout the movie, and I just think it worked. It worked every time.
What about you, Arlie?
I didn't think about it until you said it, so
Oh, shit, sorry.
I still don't
So
really
not
have an opinion other than
well,
what Pat said. It worked.
if
It
he
it
didn't,
Yeah,
if he
it
didn't,
added it added
yeah.
an element of comedy.
that's what I thought. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, it kind of added to the comedy aspect of it. Because there were times where the comedy, it wasn't in your face, like you said, like the last one. It wasn't in your face. It was very subtle. And I am happy with this choice over Scary Movie 2 because of that. I, I knew it was subtle humor, but I didn't realize like how subtle it was. Like the whole conversation on the phone when he's talking to his mom, and he's like, "Oh my God, mom, did you get bit?" "Oh, Philip? Oh, okay." And then Ed comes in and he's like, "Oh, did Barbara get bit?" "No, it was only Philip." "Oh, okay." Like that that whole back and forth, just like the little quips I thought were great.
hmm The one thing that I have to say about I think the characters were all really great in the movie, but like David is such an insufferable character, but he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be. He does, and the actor does a great job. Ed, not much better, but you like him for some reason. But he really is a disaster the whole time. But you like him for some reason. I don't know what the difference is, but I just got a kick out of that.
Yeah.
The
I
weird
think it's
thing,
because he's like the common man. Oh, go on, man. Sorry.
as you say, the weird thing is like David's actually trying to do the stuff that you should do to better your situation, and Ed is just like I don't know what I'm gonna do until I start doing it.
That's
He's
hilarious. But yeah, everything he does, like as soon as they start on the plan, after they get the plan down, he asks to drive. So I mean, right off the bat, like the plan has changed now. Things are going to go different after he's driving. And then he crashes that car on purpose because he wants to drive the Jag. Then they
yeah.
decide he doesn't kill Philip. So it's when he comes walking out with his mom and Philip, it's so funny because every time they made a call, he was going to kill Philip. So yeah, uh, yeah. Then he's hitting, purposely hitting the zombies and does donuts and stuff like that. So yeah, he's messing stuff up the whole time, but I just still liked him the whole time.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, every bit of it. I think one of my favorites is when he's completely ignoring Pete and when he's like talking shit about Ed right next to him. He's like, "This guy, you need to get him off our couch." He's like, "Come on, he's worth a laugh every now and then." And he's like, "Yeah, he was worth a laugh." He's like, "Remember that time we were all playing Tekken 2 and he made that joke?" He's like, "Yeah, that was funny." He's like, "That was 5 years ago." He's like, "Get him the fuck off our
Yeah.
couch." And then he comes up to him and he's like, "Ed, if you're gonna stay here all day, can you please do some chores? And if you take messages down, you know how to write on a piece of paper, don't you? Write everybody's messages down." He's like, "Yeah, yeah." And then as he walks away, he's got that the index cards taped to his blazer. I am a prick. And he turns to Shaun. He's like, "I thought it was funny, right? I thought it was funny." The little shit that he does that most people think that he's just an idiot are, it's like he is an idiot, but like the stuff he does is absolutely hilarious. It makes up for the stuff that you don't like about him.
I don't think he's as much of an idiot as he's inconsiderate and
Yeah.
he's not trying to hurt anybody else, but he's definitely just trying to do whatever he wants to do, and it doesn't really matter about anybody else.
Oh yeah. Well, hello.
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 He
I
did not
uh
watch. He doesn't have much to add in this part of the conversation. Bye bye.
I
Bye
I
bye.
I did like when they were all in the Jag and it was set up that the child safety locks were on, and then when they get in they have to stop and everybody has to get out, they tell Ed to like open the back door, and he gets out of the car and just like stands around and doesn't help him.
Stands there.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was like,
Liz has to come up to him like, "Ed, what are you
Oh,
doing?" He's like,
what?
"Huh?"
You? I thought it was whenever Shaun asked something like, "Do you still have the child safety locks on?" And he goes, "Safety first, Shaun." That was really funny. That is the character Philip was really good, and they had the actual serious talk in the Jag, and that was a good scene, a
Yeah.
good moment. Also, the scene whenever they're all practicing their zombie walks and stuff, and when Barbara, then they're like, "Oh, that looks great," and she's like, "Oh, what? I was just zoned out." That was really funny. That was my favorite joke the first time that I watched the movie. That was my favorite joke.
It was a good one. It was a good joke. But you
uh,
find out the reason why she's able to be so distant is because she is slowly turning into a zombie
I think
from getting
she's just
attacked by one of
naturally
her
like
neighbors.
that.
Oh, that too. She was spacey as hell when he first came and picked him up. She was completely oblivious, or at least just didn't care whatsoever about the urgency of getting out.
Yeah.
Even though her husband was bit.
Like, I told you I read it under a cold tap.
It's hard to hear you, man. I don't know if it's your headphones, but you were cutting in and out.
Yeah, it probably is. Just continue.
the
All right.
uh, the thing that the thing I laughed at the most the first time I watched it was when they were on the phone with Barbara and they were getting ready to hang up, and Ed just like sticks his head at the phone. He's like, "We're coming to get you, Barbara." As like it's a reference to the "They're coming to get you, Barbara."
Night of the Living
Yeah.
Dead.
It made me laugh a lot.
You're coming to get you, Barbara.
Don't you point your gun at my mom. Don't you point your gun at Barbara.
But David, what a and also you would think with a performance like that that every time I see that guy, I would just think of this character. But he played the supporting actor to Simon Pegg in Run Fat Boy Run, and he was really good. He was one of the best characters in the movie. So credit to that guy as an actor too, because they went from being just somebody that I loved when I saw him get ripped apart in that movie to being just like the funniest character in another one. So
Yeah,
Uh,
he really did play a dickweed in this one very
yeah.
well.
He was gonna shoot Shaun if that gun was loaded or that gun didn't malfunction. He was gonna shoot
He
him.
he did
he
pull the
did.
trigger.
Before
He
that,
did.
he was a pacifist, so he wouldn't even touch the gun before. Then he was gonna shoot Shaun. Terrible.
Because he's
He's
jealous.
Oh, also, I don't know if you guys noticed if you watch The British Office, but Diane is the Pam in The British Office.
I didn't know that.
No. Although I did watch the first episode and I forgot all about that.
Oh, also, the second time they run into Yvonne, and she has a group of people that mirrors their group of people. The
Yeah.
second and her boyfriend in that line, he is the Jim in The British Office. He's also the guy that played Everett Ross in the Black Panther movies, and he played I think he played the Hobbit as well in the Hobbit movies.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was him, the guy that played her boyfriend in that mirror line.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
He
I never caught that before, but I caught it this time.
I know
That's
him
good.
most as Watson from
Never
the
seen it.
Oh,
Sherlock show with Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he
Mm.
plays Watson.
Yep, that's him.
I'd have to go back and watch it. Um,
There's another running gag through all the movie where people kept pointing out that you've got red on you.
yeah, in the beginning.
Like even whenever they're covered in blood and stuff, somebody else still say it. Like,
Yeah, like
yeah,
right
go.
after they got done, I thought one of the. I mean, it was definitely one of my favorite parts when I first watched it is when they first grabbed whatever they could find and they go outside and they just start chucking like pots and cans at the zombie's head because they hear on the news how you gotta destroy the brain or or bash their head in. So they're just sitting there throwing cans of soup and
Yeah,
mugs at at their heads and shit.
throw the basket at
And
the
then
end.
the
Stuff.
say that again.
Well, they have a basket full of stuff they're throwing, and then whenever they throw everything, they just throw the basket. It's just like a laundry basket. They just throw that as well.
Yeah, I love when they were like sifting through the
Yes,
albums,
yes,
trying to go Dire Straits. Shit, get rid of it. And he
yeah,
just
yeah,
chucks it. They just keep chucking
yeah.
shit at him.
They're approaching the zombies are approaching them, and they're actually picking through the album collection to decide which ones to throw out of it. I thought that was a good gag right there. Really good.
He's
It
like,
was.
that
I
was the
Yeah,
remember
like
second pressing.
like I like it.
oh, that was the second album I ever bought.
Yeah, I don't remember what album it was, but he pulls up one like this is obviously we're gonna throw this one, but Sean's like, I like it. Yeah, it was a good gag.
What do you think is a worse weapon? Them bringing that whole laundry basket of items, or the lady that brought an unplugged iron to fight Michael Myers? Which one do you think?
Probably the unplugged iron is worse.
Yeah. Like,
Michael's
cause
more
honestly, like the basket had a chance of working
yeah.
to a degree, whereas you're not gonna take down Michael Myers like that. You don't stand a chance like that.
Hey,
You might as well go
she
out there with
doesn't know him like we know him.
true, but that's why I get to say that's why I get to have my opinion because I am the audience. So as the
Yeah.
audience and I know who he is, I think that would be a stupid call. But that's me being outside of the movie. I'm not judging horror movie decisions. I know I've been critiqued before in the past when I've given too much of a realistic point of view and it's a horror movie. I know I gotta step back from that.
I really like the joke whenever they're fighting the neighbor when they're jumping through the lawns and they throw him the tetherball pole and he winds
Yeah.
it up and hits him in the head with the tetherball.
And they're like, grab him.
Yeah, they're making the stab motion, and he does. And I don't know if you guys thought about this. I never thought about this till this time. But he runs that pole not only through the zombie, but through a tree.
I didn't catch that the first one either. I was like, how did he do that? Like
Yeah,
the amount of strength he has to have.
I never heard any other movie besides From Dusk Till Dawn mention this, but they actually take the time in From Dusk Till Dawn to mention that the vampires have soft bodies. So even though they're strong and they're fast or whatever, like you could stick a stake through them way easier than you could stick a stake through me or you know, because their bodies are softer. So I just kind of adopt that for all things. That's why you can stab a zombie so easy, and that's why you can stab vampires and everything so easy. So yeah, I made that exception when he stabbed through the zombie. But yeah, I never even
Yeah.
put it together that he went through the tree as well.
Oh yeah. Well, we also saw that when Sean's like, all right, you come at with the when he's throwing the like right before he throws the records at the two zombies. Before it's the two, it's just the lady in the garden, right? When they go out to inspect it. And at first they're just playing it off like she's drunk and everything. Like, oh my god, look how drunk she is. They're just having fun with it until she tackles him, and then he threatens her. He's like, "All right, if you come at me, I'm gonna come at you." And he like pushes her, and he puts her down on that pole. When she lifts up, she's just got this giant hole through her whole body. Like right then and there, you knew that they were soft, decaying bodies
Yes.
already.
But it's like if it was just a drunk girl, he would have pushed her and she would have been like, I don't know if
Yeah.
impaled is the right word, even skewered on that thing.
Stewart
Imagine if
is
it
the
was
better
just
word.
a drunk girl that was in his backyard.
It's self-defense. She was coming after him.
Yeah. On
Yeah, he
this,
dropped out.
No, I'm still here.
he can still hear us. We just can't see
Oh,
him.
Just
I
doing
didn't know.
something.
No
I
problem.
trying to lost my train of thought. I think I was gonna go with like the thing I found funniest this round was
Oh, go on.
was after the breakup and everything with waking up drunk. He's going to the store. Just how completely oblivious he is to everything.
Yeah,
The blood on
the
on
glass,
the
the
glass,
handprints.
him slipping in the
And
blood.
they had set that up the previous scene because he just kind of on his routine and he went and did his thing and all this stuff is happening in the background. He pays no attention to it. So then he goes out and they're all zombies and he's still not paying any attention. He's just doing his routine. So yeah, I
I like.
like that. It was funny and I like that that kind of stuff comes back. They set it all up, just like whenever he is with Ed when he's playing the shooting game. When he says like top left,
Yeah,
reload, whenever Sean's firing the gun later, it's that same they say the same stuff. Top left, reload on it, nice shot. Like they say all the same stuff. So I like that. They set everything up and it all comes back again.
yeah.
Yeah,
They show his obliviousness before that as well. Like after, not only before, or I can't talk. Not only the morning after, but that night that they leave the bar because they after he gets dumped by Liz. Which I also thought was funny when he brought her the flowers. He didn't even hesitate to grab the flowers. And he tries to play it off as a joke, like, oh, yeah, I put mom on there because that's what we were talking about. And she's like, these are for your mom, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, they were.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he played it off. But
yeah.
yeah. But he also, as they were walking into the bar, they saw that couple making out on the wall, and they were still there when they left the bar. And it wasn't until they passed them that you saw that the woman was eating the guy at that point, and his head like almost fell off of his body.
Yeah.
And then they start doing the song, they're humming it,
Mm.
and then they incorporate the zombie's rhythm of his grunts into the song. Like shows complete obliviousness to the situations around him.
Yeah.
But the funniest part, in
Yeah.
my opinion, was when it was part of that scene. But when he comes back from the when he comes out of the shop after passing all the zombies and he passes that one that just looks like a homeless man, he's like, "No, no, I don't have change. I didn't
That's
have
the
change in
homeless
the
man.
store." No.
That's the homeless man he gave to change to the first time.
I didn't even notice. I forgot about that then.
That's why he's like,
I
I don't
didn't pay
have change. I
attention.
didn't even have the 15 pence to pay for it.
Yeah, that joke made me laugh the hardest when he walked by. I thought he was just asking for change. But what did you guys think of the ending? I'll skip to it. We already talked about how he was a dick in the bar and they ended up having to shoot Barbara, which we all knew was coming.
It was
But
oh, go
Well,
ahead.
why don't we summarize the end by saying that the military got the outbreak under control and that the zombies were able to retain like some of their own personalities. So they started using them as like,
yeah,
for menial labor, like workforce, going to get shopping carts at the store, stuff like that. And then we find out that Shaun has Ed in his shed chained up and they still go in there and play games and whatnot. I liked it. I liked it a lot because I haven't seen that before, and I think they subtly left it open for a sequel anytime because any point, any one of those things can start biting somebody. And,
later, okay? Sorry, I
We
too have.
wasted the good surprise on you.
Oh no!
I was just gonna say I liked how they went the complete opposite of like every other zombie movie, where it's always like world chaos, and in this one it's like everything's back to normal. We've incorporated them into being a workforce. We use them
Yeah,
for entertainment
but
purposes, for
a
game
zombie
shows.
couple reality show, yeah.
yeah.
Like,
It was what was it? Was it zombie tug of war? Essentially, it was like they were on ropes and like whoever was strong enough
it's like
got to the meat first.
a rope and a slip and slide, and then there was like meat,
Yeah.
raw meat, and at the end, and yeah, so you're just using them as like Coliseum type
And
fodder.
like when
The
Ed
casual aspect of it with the news report too, when he was like, I don't know if you caught it when the woman was being interviewed about her husband being kept locked up, and then they ask her like, "Oh, do you still sleep next to him?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I?"
Yeah, oh, yeah. She was on like a Jerry Springer type show saying that
Yeah.
she's still married to her husband and stuff. Yes.
like
Uh, yeah.
or they're trained enough to where like Ed tries to bite him, and all he's got to do is like tell him, and then he like realizes, oh, don't bite. There's
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
Then he just
there's
goes back to playing the video games together. It was
And like I said, there could be a sequel at any time because at any time another outbreak could start because they're still around.
oh yeah.
So
Oh
I
man.
like that. Well, that little threat that lays over the top and it'll just always be there. But in essence, it had a happy ending.
Yeah. I
dogs
imagine
can't
that
look
if it
up.
did, it would start with that tug of war game. Like somebody would get cut in half by the rope, and then they just crawl to the host, and then bite the host,
Mhm.
and then it just branches out from there.
Oh, one thing that stuck out to me is whenever they are making their way through the crowd of zombies to get into the Winchester, there's all those zombies around. There's one zombie in a wheelchair that was like operating the wheelchair, and I thought that was interesting. I thought
Really?
that a zombie, yeah, would just fall out of the chair and drag themselves to wherever they need to go, but she was actually like wheeling the wheelchair. I thought that was pretty
I
fun.
didn't even see
It
that.
was
Oh
a
man, I gotta
blink
get
and you
back.
miss it moment.
Yeah, there's just a couple little things that I caught this time after watching so many times and just not catching it before.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that this is considered part of a trilogy along with Hot Fuzz and
Into the
At
world.
World's End?
Yeah.
I did not know it was
I didn't
considered a
know.
trilogy.
I didn't know they all connected, but
I don't know if they're connected, but I know that there's a podcast used to listen to called The Weekly Planet, and they refer to it as the Cornetto trilogy. So I don't even know where that comes from, but I know Cornetto is an ice cream, and that he gets a Cornetto at the store whenever he goes to the shop in the morning, one of those mornings. But yeah, that's what they call it, is the Cornetto trilogy. But Paul's not a part of it, which I think, Paul, hits kind of the same beats. But World's End and Hot Fuzz, they all have horror movie elements to them, more so than Paul, I
Yeah.
guess.
yeah.
But I was considering putting that on the bracket, the Cornetto trilogy on the bracket. But we're already reviewing one right now, and there's only two left, so I don't know if I will or not. But I was considering it.
Fair. All right.
The World's End, I love. I'm not a huge fan of Hot Fuzz. I think I might have only watched it the one time, but I really like that World's End.
I haven't seen that one, so I'll have to check that out.
It's great.
It's been a long time since I've seen Hot Fuzz though. So.
Yeah, I might have only seen it the one time, and I enjoyed it, but I never really went back to it.
What
All right.
what would you guys rate this movie? I'm
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 giving it
not
4.5 Manchester or Winchesters. I give it 4.5 Winchesters.
Sultan. How about you, brother?
Well, brother, I'm gonna have to also I'm gonna say 4.25 Cornettos. I'm gonna give it.
I would give it a solid 4. Don't shoot, Barbara.